And now for something completely different. Hello, space friends. Captain Snuggles here, reporting to you from my legitimate Space Corp. This is a pre-alpha playtest of a game called Legitimate Space Corp Simulator LLC, in which Earth has been destroyed, humanity has been relocated across the galaxy, and as part of the Human Relocation Program, we've been given a job as manager and sole employee of a space convenience store. It's a time management game where you juggle various tasks like pumping gas, manning the cash register, checking stock, growing drugs, ordering snacks, dealing drugs, stocking shelves, and a variety of other very legitimate activities associated with running a convenience store in space. So you can see I've already started my day, got up at 8, hopped on my skateboard and skated right over to the space store where I checked stock, and now I am trying to get a few things ordered, a little bit of alcohol, a little bit of junk food, before the 9 o'clock rush hits when the space store opens. Of course, the gas station part of the store is open 24/7, so I immediately have to go and pump some premium quality space gas into this spaceship. Another one is landing right behind it, so time management is already of the essence. I believe the space store is going to open soon, so I need to get this thing pumped up and get back out there. Now, as I mentioned, there are a lot of different things to do in this game, all sort of within the confines of this space station. Conveniently, there are these flashing lights on the walls that will let me know what needs attention at any given time. Of course, as I mentioned, the space store has opened, the 9 a.m. rush has hit, and there are a variety of colorful aliens walking around, casually insulting the human race in those dialogue boxes above their heads, and buying my snacks. So, I tolerate the abuse and ring them up. So yeah, this is an interesting little game. It is surprisingly decent for pre-alpha. Now it does use some AI voice acting, which we don't hear here, and I think some of the minor art pieces, like the cereal boxes and the posters on the walls and whatnot, those are AI art as well, which is not my favorite thing, but for a pre-alpha game, well, I guess that's forgivable, considering the overall state of the industry. So, managed to ring up a couple of aliens, and in the brief interlude, I've checked my stock again, gone to grab the supply shipment, and I'm going to take it back and stage it so that I can stock the shelves a little bit later. I do have to be a little careful with the cart, because if you run it over a customer, it straight up deletes them, which is maybe not quite ideal. So yeah, there's a little bit of pre-alpha jank going on, but all things considered, it runs pretty smoothly. So, I've cleared the 9 a.m. rush, got them all checked out, so now it is back to the gas station to pump some more space gas. There is this little skill check type thing where you have to stop the needles when they align with each other. It's not too tough, but it adds a little bit of flavor to the whole thing instead of just waiting for gas to be pumped. So that's not bad. And there are a few minor odds and ends like that scattered throughout the game. You can see my money ticking up in the top right. Money, unsurprisingly, is how you order more supplies and more gas and expand your store and get a variety of other minor upgrades. It's pretty hard to really mismanage your money. I don't know if there's any way that you can actually run out, but still, the more efficient you are at making money, the faster you can progress, basically, is what it seems like. And of course, the more efficient you are at managing your time, the more efficient you are at making money. So here we go. In addition to ringing up the customers, some of them get here via teleporter and have to be teleported out. So there's just a little skill check there, where you have to line up the teleporter. You get paid a little bit for teleporting them out. You can also kill them if you mess it up too badly. You can give them the Galaxy Quest treatment and screw up the teleport and splatter them. So you have to be a little careful of that, although there aren't really any major penalties. Alright, continuing the colorful cast of characters in the space store here, buying my snacks and my alcohol. Once again, a little bit of pre-alpha drink. The cart physics leave a little bit to be desired, but once again, it's functional enough, I suppose. So in this relative lull in activity, I'm taking this opportunity to stock the shelves and hopefully sell just a couple more cases of those beer before the day ends. So you probably pretty much get the idea now. There are still a couple more things going on that you can do in addition to repeatedly flipping carts over. We will see those here pretty shortly. You might have heard a little spray can sound in the background. That's one of the more aggravating parts of the game in its current state. Those are people spraying graffiti, and so basically you have to clean up the store in addition to everything else. And by the store, I mean the whole space station. So I'm currently taking out these empty boxes, which are just trash, popping them in the airlock and jettisoning them. You also have to physics, fun stuff. You also have to vacuum or pick up the little bits of trash that the aliens leave lying around the station, like the jerks they are, and jettison that out the airlock as well. But also periodically graffiti will spawn on the walls, and there's no indication of where it is. You just have to run around and try to find it. And I think there's some kind of like a customer base penalty for leaving the graffiti up. So yeah, that could probably use some work. I don't think I even bother to run around cleaning graffiti during this video because it's pretty boring to do, and it's definitely even more boring to watch. So I'm focusing on the really exciting stuff, like pumping space gas. I don't think the game actually calls it space gas, but it does call the store the space store, and that's something. I am a sucker for anything that needlessly inserts the word space in front of things that are in space. So that might be why I actually feel pretty favorable about this game. I don't really know how it stacks up to genre counterparts. You know, Steam thinks that this is similar to X4, which it very much is not. I mean, I guess they both are in space and have some kind of connection to the economy, kind of. And they also both use AI voice acting. But aside from that, yeah, not many similarities there. Probably the thing that I've played that is most similar to this would be Slime Rancher. And it's definitely not as good as Slime Rancher, but that's not a fair comparison because, number one, it's pre-alpha, and number two, Slime Rancher is kind of a lightning in a bottle kind of scenario, in my opinion. But still, for whatever reason, I have a pretty good time with this. So there we go. The space store, I believe, has closed or just about closed, and I'm just doing my sort of end-of-day wrap-up activities now. So the store is open from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. You have to go to bed by 4:20 a.m. I know, funny jokes, right? So there's a pretty long period of downtime where you just need to do mop up, like teleporting the customers out, cleaning up the trash, fueling up the late night trips. Speaking of which, we got some space diesel on order here, which is a very nice pickup. So this is going to give me money to do one of the other late night activities, which is ordering new stock and new gas, as well as potentially expanding the store, getting some upgrades, as well as some of the very legitimate activities that happen in the hydroponics bay. So, just wrapping up this, had a little line of ships waiting for gas. but this will wrap those up. I think the fuel tank on the station was getting pretty low, so I will need to order some new gas for that. Excuse me, order some new space gas for that. Yeah, so that's definitely on the list. You also saw on the left-hand side there was a radio panel, and the music is actually kind of catchy. I'm on one of the more sort of generic ones here, but there's some pretty wild ones, and I don't think they're AI generated, or at least the developers did not list them as being AI generated. You can see I just emptied my bank account there just about. Just buying more gas, which, yeah, sounds about right. So here we go. You can tell the hydroponics bay has nothing sketchy at all in it, because of the turrets right outside, and also because of the big X's painted on the signs. So here we go. Normal food crops there. Definitely not drugs, nothing to see there. But there's a whole separate production chain for those highly legitimate crops, and it takes quite a bit of time, but it's a lucrative payout. So that's an interesting component. Alright, fighting against the cart physics once again to go and get more stock. And restock those shelves. Exciting stuff, I know. The game really is... It's more frantic than I think this video really lets on. I guess the rate at which you have to click buttons is not that insane, but there's also having to make decisions about, you know, what to do, how to manage your time, what buttons to click at what point in time, and it's busy. It is quite busy, and not in a bad way for the most part. Continuing to struggle with the cart. I did not want to pick up the crate of oat bars there, but I'm just gonna roll with it. I wanted a crate of Cosmic Cola. So here we go. So obviously, this particular gameplay loop is not going to entertain anybody forever. This is about the full extent of what you can do, except for what you're about to see. As you might expect, you can also build things and expand your store in sort of a modular fashion. For right now, the options are pretty limited, you know, shelves and refrigerators. You can make teleports to get around the station faster, although they're pretty buggy. But even with that sort of building aspect, the gameplay loop is not that extensive. I imagine if you played it more than a couple hours, it would get pretty stale pretty fast. So, you know, this is just a pre-alpha sort of proof of concept, basic playtest. So I imagine that there'll be a lot more added to it in the future. For example, those cryopods back there, you can't do anything with them yet. There are empty rooms scattered about, so it'll get more exciting. I hope that as more things are added, that things like this, where you're just standing, refilling your station's fuel tank with no interaction required at all, I hope things like that will have the option to be automated. You know, make a couple thousand space credits and get a little robot that can do this really uninteresting task for you. I think that'd be great, but yeah, for a pre-alpha, it's fine. So yeah, I'm interested to see where the game goes. I think it has some decent bones on it. It's not really very well fleshed out yet, but I think as a basic proof of concept, it's pretty good. And again, I've been really surprised by how few bugs there are in this thing, or the state that it's in. You know, this very, very first little playtest. It's really not too bad. There's a little bit of jank around the edges, but the core of it is pretty solid. And I think you all really get the idea now. Again, I'm really a novice in this genre. I just happened to get an invite from my friend and figured I would hop in the playtest and see what was up, and it happened to be entertaining enough to make a video out of. But I don't know enough to really solidly assess this game. I would be really curious to hear what you all think about it in the comments as I hop on my skateboard and skate back to the room just in time for my 4:20 a.m. bedtime. So, those of you who are more familiar with these sort of time management games, let me know what you think. Yeah, tell me how you think this stacks up. So, yeah, here I've wrapped up my day and am ready to start a new shift and a new day on the highly legitimate Space Corp convenience store. So, once again, let me know what you think. I look forward to seeing your comments. And, as always, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you'll tune in next time. And until then, this is Captain Snuggles, signing off.